You are watching the video version of the Marketing Should Be Fun podcast. We are so glad that you are here. If you prefer to listen to podcasts, you can find the Marketing Should Be Fun show on any of your favorite podcast platforms, whether that's Apple Podcasts, Spotify, anywhere else. But most of all, we're so glad you're here, and I hope that you enjoy today's conversation. Well, welcome back to another episode of Marketing Should Be Fun. My name's Austin Savage. I'm the founder of Savage Content Collective, and I'm here with my good friend, Kelsey Sarko, founder of Curate Social. Kelsey, it's great to be back on the podcast with you.
I'm so excited to be here.
Apparently, Marketing Should Be Fun is just a pop culture podcast now. So Our Taylor Swift episode did very well over on the old YouTube. Unfortunately, though, I know next to nothing about any other topic when it comes to pop culture. So you're going to be carrying us. So
okay, I'll try really hard. Do you ever listen to the Popcast? Maybe you could start that and then you'll be a little more caught up. It's hilarious. I feel like you would love it. Jamie Golden.
Is it really?
Okay.
The Popcast?
It's great. The Popcast.
I've heard you talk about.
I feel like I know so many things you don't, and I feel cool for a minute. And then I'm like, oh, it's because I'm closer to 40 and you're not. Okay.
Okay. That's rude. That was rude.
I know. It's rude to me, not you. You youth. It's I just know pop culture for the millennials in the room. Right. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, there are some things that I, get updated on through Instagram or whatever unintentionally, just from the news or whatever. But
unintentionally.
But for the most part, I mean, literally my knowledge of the most popular pop artists, most popular actors and all of those kinds of things. I don't know that much.
Have you even watched The Summer I Turned Pretty?
I don't even know what that is.
Oh, Lord help me. Okay. Okay. It's fine.
Is that a TV show?
We're going to have yes.
Okay.
And I feel like you need to stay up on these trends so then you can be on trend for your clients and such. You can do a whole carousel of The Summer I Turned blah, blah, blah. We'll just do an episode next time on Kelsey's education to pop culture for Austin.
You're here are the top 5 trends of what's happening in our world from a pop culture standpoint.
No, plenty. There's just, we all have different interests and that's okay.
Yeah. It is pretty funny to think about though. But we're back with another episode, fully back to the old classic Marketing Should Be Fun vibes. But Kelsey, what is our this or that for today?
Okay. There's been a lot happening lately. I needed to just bring us back down to just some calm, normal questions.
Okay.
Right now, it is September. I'm actually drinking a pumpkin cold brew as we speak, which is the best.
Delicious.
And where you live and where I used to be from is the Pumpkin Festival week. It's just all the fall vibes are here.
That's true.
And I realized about something about you that I don't know is, do you prefer your marshmallows burnt or toasted?
Oh, because we're in s'more season.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sorry. We took a hard turn from pumpkins. It all goes together.
It does. It is. I connected it.
Yeah, thank you.
In my mind. There is only one right answer to this. And truly somebody's answer to this question is a clear signal for just the health of their inner life. You know what I'm saying?
So you don't really care is what you're saying, super chill about it.
Yeah, just super chill. It doesn't matter at all. Toasted is the only right answer. A little bit of that golden brown on the outside of the marshmallow, but not any black on the marshmallow.
Okay, no char.
At all. No char.
Okay.
That's the only right answer.
I will agree with you on this one. So we don't actually have to argue it out. I'm with you. I also don't like the char, but I need it to be golden enough that the inside is not still cold. That is the biggest pet peeve for me. I will not eat a s'more if I bite into it and I'm like, it is not oozing warmth and gooiness and deliciousness.
Yes. Do you want to know something even more unhinged about me from a s'mores perspective? I
feel like I might know this, but yes, I want to hear it again.
Okay, I might have already said this on this or that before. I actually don't really like s'mores at all. So
yes, I did. I was I knew that we had talked about s'mores at one point because I think I asked you pumpkins or s'mores or something. And so I knew that you had strong feelings around something with this, but I couldn't remember what it was. So
I am not a big sweets person. And so they just if it's too sweet, it makes, I think I have sensitive teeth or something, and it hurts my teeth to eat something too sweet. So the other day, my birthday was a couple weeks ago. And one of our closest friends, they texted us, and she was like, Austin, I'd love to have dessert for you, when you guys come over for dinner. And she was like, which of these wouldn't hurt your teeth? And she listed out cheesecake. And I was
it Angela? Because that's the sweetest thing ever.
It was so sweet. And
see, isn't it just so good to be known?
It's the best. But
yeah. Did you have cake for your birthday breakfast that year?
No, we do birthday breakfast for our tradition. But my go-to is biscuits and gravy. That's my favorite. It's probably my favorite
solid
food,
choice.
Honestly.
Okay,
it's
wow.
delicious.
Solid choice.
Yeah.
I love this. Okay, so not inviting you over s'mores, but you're willing to come over for biscuits and gravy. Got it.
100%. I mean, I'm there for the s'mores vibes, but I won't be sad if I cook marshmallows for other people,
Okay, cool. Great. I feel good about that. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Shifting gears from s'mores all the way over to, I was trying to think of a good analogy that I could use.
I was where are we going?
But I couldn't come up with one. But all the way over to the good old topic of marketing. Today, we have some, not really the most exciting stories ever, but we have some stories that we wanted to share I have one from just a purchase that I've made recently. You have one from a client who sold something recently, and that are just great principles of this idea of what we're always talking about here on the podcast of content performs on a human level, of how the best content that you can create and the best strategy that you can work from a content marketing perspective is when you are leading with your personality, when you're letting people connect with you as a creator, as the leader or owner of a business or organization, as a key part of a team if you're in a larger company. I mean, we're always talking about this here on the podcast about what a difference it can make. And we have seen that happen recently. We're always seeing that happen. But we just wanted to share some kind of practical examples of what that looks like for people who are making purchases today.
Yeah, I love that. Do you want to tell us your story first and then I can jump in, or would you like me to lead?
Kelsey, I would love to hear your story first.
Okay. Yeah, I love this story. It actually has happened for the same client a couple different times, but I'll just kind of combine the two stories together. So she is a person who I manage her Instagram and her email for her. She shares a service where it's not a low ticket item. It's several $100s, but it's a whole day experience. It's just been really cool to see her share it in creative ways. And so what has happened recently is 2 different times. The first time a client came in, we didn't actually know the story of how she ended up booking or what made her go ahead and take that step. But when she came in, she said, oh my gosh, you are the same exact person that I feel on social media. Your vibe is the same as you're exactly how I imagined you. And I might have even shared that story before on the podcast. But then recently she had a similar experience where the person was sitting in her chair and I think they were just having a conversation of how did you find yourself here? She didn't know this person. A lot of times I think all of us can relate to sometimes our purchases and clients or customers, whatever, come from just maybe some warm touch points, or we have a friend of a friend or whatever. This person was nothing, no connection. Yeah. So she asked how she had found her. And she said, well, I just searched DFW stylist and your content was the one I connected with the most. I just went through all of your posts and really loved how you acted and your vibe and just your personality. So I booked, and we were like, I mean, it's always so fun. You're like, yes, I know this works. I've built a living on these principles and sharing them with other people. But just to show, I think it just reminded her and me so much of and this is why you act like yourself and you show your personality and you are a human and you remember that because people want to connect with a human and they're making purchasing decisions based on that. They're making their purchasing decisions based on their connection with you. And so if all we do is just share the facts or share the promotions or, keep it a little bit more clinical because we might think that feels right, we are missing out on so much that is out there.
Oh, 100%. I love both of those stories for that brand that you just shared. But that's such a great example of why that consistency matters. And what I think is really interesting about that story is the purchase intent was already there for that person. Like she was looking for DFW stylists. Like she wanted to find somebody. She wanted to find somebody to make that purchase with. And the vibe of the content and the consistency of the content that your client has had is what like made her the best choice in that. And I think that is like such a common thing that we're often like advocating for, is like, you don't always have to create that purchasing intent for people. You just have to position yourself as the best option, and you're building trust. And whether that's short, like the example you shared, or over a long period of time, like is typical as well. But then when people get to that place of like, oh, the problem feels big enough, or the timing is right for me to look for whatever service it is, then the decision is easy, because you're the first person that comes to mind, or you're the account that stands out in comparison to the others that they find from that search.
Yeah, that's why we make content for so many different parts of the buyer's journey. Is I tell people all the time, and I have to remind myself, we can't make assumptions about the person who's taking in this content. We do make educated decisions. We look up, we research client pain points and all of those good things, but we've got to make content all along the spectrum of where they're at in their journey, because we don't know where they are. And when they find our content, we want them to find a connection point quickly. And that's one of the ways we can offer them that.
Yes. I love that. So I had not really a similar story, but a purchase that I made recently. And I don't usually analyze my own decisions, but I did in this case. And I was like, oh my gosh, the reason that I made this purchase was because I experienced alongside this brand the exact same thing that I'm trying to do for clients every week. And I just thought that it was really, really cool. So there's a poet that I really like that I found on Instagram. I think she does stuff on TikTok too, but I'm pretty sure I found her through Instagram.
Look at you being on Instagram.
I know, you would be so proud. I am so proud of me. But she writes like custom poems on the spot. Usually she's in Central Park. And I love her poetry. It's so cool. And to see her come up with stuff like quickly is just like it's a really fascinating style of creating work like that. And so every time I see her posts, I'm like, oh, I always watch it to the end. I always like get excited to hear it. And it's just, I started following along. I see her post more frequently. And then I found out that she had a podcast. And so I was like, oh, that's fun. And she like writes poetry on the podcast and just like chats with a friend on it. And it's like just super casual vibes overall. And so I started listening to the podcast and engaged with her over there. But never once did I see a post from this person that was like, buy my poetry. You can like buy something from my shop. It was just like she was sharing her work. She was, engaging people with her personality. And I started to kind of build a connection just with her brand as a whole. And I started to get curious. I was like, I wonder if like some of these poems that I'm hearing in all of these different places, like I wonder if she has prints of some of them, or like something that she sells in her shop or something like that. And so I did. I went to her website, I went to her shop, and I found that she does custom poems, which I bought one of. It's right there. It's really fun.
Love it.
It was just really fascinating because she does have like in her bio on Instagram, like she does make it clear that you can like shop in her on her website and stuff like that. But I thought it was such a great example of leading with value and leading with that connection, leading with personality, and not overemphasizing the next step that she's wanting people to take, alongside her brand, but letting the value that she's giving people build that trust to create that curiosity to explore more, to, check out what's available, and to kind of take that next step in a natural way.
Well, I think we have to remember people are smart. Like they will find what you offer if they have a strong enough connection or motivation or whatever it is. And so I think that's just such a good reminder of it is good. It is good. I think we're saying the same things of like, it's important to offer your clients the step, be clear about what you offer and how they can get there, make it, remove the roadblocks, and also be a human and let them connect with you. And remember that like they will figure it out for not just one reason. They will figure it out if they feel compelled by just who you are and how you've connected with them.
Yeah. I feel like I often hear, especially in those early conversations, like I often hear from clients, there's this perspective, I think, with content that it's like, if I just share the right story, or if I just share like the right piece of content, then it will convince somebody like in that moment that we're the best option for them, and like I'll be able to sell my product or sell my service to them. And it's not that that never happens, but I think more often the case is that like consistency over time is what builds that trust for people to take that next step. Because there's no way for like this story specifically, like there's no way that after the first reel that I saw from Zoe that I would have been like, right, oh my gosh, I should purchase a poem from this person, right? Like it took time for me to be like, oh, I love this piece. I love this piece. I love this piece. I know that I will love a piece that I order from her. And like all of that is that's the same principle that applies not only in the case of art or poetry, but that applies in technology or in consulting. You know, people are very rarely going to make a decision off of one piece of content. You know, it's going to take 10, 15, 50 pieces of content or engagements with your brand to really help people kind of bridge that gap from, you know, curiosity or just awareness of your brand to actually getting to that consideration decision, you know, part of the journey.
Definitely. That's just pure marketing science. We've known that for decades. Mm-hmm. But what it looks like in today's world, in some ways, is harder. There is more coming at people all the time, but in so many ways, it's easier because you have dozens of these small little opportunities and then also bigger, more formal ones. I mean, I'm thinking of like a quick Instagram story versus a full podcast episode. Both of those are touches with the brand. You're getting a different dynamic from those touches, but it's never been easier to show your personality and offer your humanity to people in order for them to connect back to you than with all the different platforms and options we have available to us with different marketing options.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it just comes back, and I've already, you know, shared this today, but it's content really, really, really does perform on a human level. And that's not just kind of like a fun little like thing that we say, though it is a fun little...
It's a great catchphrase. We should buy t-shirts.
We should. I'm actually surprised that we have it.
I know.
It's a real thing. And these are two small anecdotes that we have from our life or our work. But truly, I know you and I are seeing this like every single week. I mean, I really have countless stories from clients too, where they'll have somebody make a large purchase like with their brand. And it's like, I've been following you for 4 years or 5 years or, you know, something like that. I've gotten so much value from you. So when my marriage was in crisis, I knew that you were the option because I've, you know, gotten value from your marriage content for so many years. Or when my business was struggling, I knew I had to come to you for these technology solutions because I've seen what you've done for other businesses and I've learned from your content over the past year. I mean, that is a real thing of how people are connecting with brands and just how people make decisions, right? Like it isn't always this, like, it isn't even always analytical, right? Like often people are gravitating towards the brands and the people that they feel most connected to personally, whether that's logical, you know, numbers wise or not.
Yeah. I think it just is a reminder of like, keep going. Like, don't stop. Don't give up. If you're going to put content out anyway, well, first of all, keep putting content out. I think we're definitely establishing that consistency piece and that trust building piece. And then if you're going to put it out anyway, make it good content. And what makes good content is somewhat subjective, but also is content that will, like you're saying, perform on a human level. And so if you've struggled or just been hesitant to let your personality or just more of that informal feel into your content, I hope these stories will convince you otherwise, or just give you a little bit of the freedom to give it a try and see what happens with the people who are in your space and connecting with you in the different ways that you're sharing.
Yeah. Yeah. One other random thing that my experience, I guess, purchasing the poem reminded me of is I thought it was really interesting to kind of think back to my own behavior as a end user or whatever. We just talked about integrated content marketing and an interconnected content strategy a couple episodes ago. And that was such an interesting example of my own decision making of moving from engaging with somebody's content on Instagram Reels and then naturally kind of like starting to engage with her podcast as well I signed up for her Substack at some point in there too. So then I started getting her emails, you know, and it's like, that's just such a great example of like, of the value, not only in the consistency, but also in it being safe and valuable to have multiple platforms that people can engage with you on, because the types of value that I get from this creator specifically are different from an Instagram reel to a long written piece to a hour-long podcast episode. But people really do want to connect with your brand in multiple spaces.
Mm-hmm. I love that reminder of just even thinking today as you're listening about different ways you have interacted with brands or made purchases or decisions lately, and letting that encourage you in the ways you are connecting with the people that you hope take those steps with you as well.
Yeah. Well, I think that's everything that we have for you today. So I hope that sparks some thoughts, some curiosities for your own brand of how you can move forward in your content marketing strategy. But as always, thank you for being here and listening to us chat on the Marketing Should Be Fun podcast. And we will see you right back here for the next episode.